Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
My name is Melissa Tosetti, and I am the founder of The Savvy Life.
And I'm Kevin Gibbons, and I'm Vice President of The Savvy Life.
And we have started our show a few minutes early, as we have been doing the last couple of sessions, to give people a chance to log on to join us. If you are watching this actually as a replay in the future on YouTube, then we are, just to let you know, we are videoing this live, and it's a fun interactive session. If you ever get a chance, want to join us live, we do it on Thursdays at 3 p.m. on we're in Pacific time, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, we want to talk just a little bit about a side topic. As I said, we like to think of this as our pre-show. And for today's pre-show topic, I want to talk about skateboarding, which is kind of an interesting...
There's a lot of family ties to that.
There is a lot of family ties to it, yeah. So from a personal finance perspective, skateboarding might seem like a very odd thing. From a personal perspective, so despite the fact that my husband is 50 years old, he is still an avid skateboarder and has been since childhood. Recently, we signed our 12-year-old son Dante up for skateboarding lessons. It's just like a 6-week session, one day a week, hour long. And we just wanted to give him a different activity, something that, while he has had his dad as an instructor in martial arts since he was a wee one, this is an opportunity for him to have somebody that is not a parent as his instructor. But also, it's just something fun and different for him to do. As we were watching him in his session on Tuesday, and I'm really glad he got his dad's agility and not mine. He's picking stuff up pretty quick, and you can see him. Yeah, you can see him just light up. And it's the fun thing about skateboarding is the learning curve. There's a lot to learn, but again, like anything with practice, you get better at it and you get excited about that. But I was thinking about it during the session is that this is an opportunity for a sport or an activity for him that once we get on the other side of these 6 lessons, he can just go outside and just start skating. I don't have to take him somewhere, pay for him to do the activity. And I think that it's wonderful. It's not that none of us should not have those things that we pay to play and enjoy doing, but I think that everybody should have in their back pocket something that they can do that doesn't cost anything, that gives them enjoyment.
It's nice to have something that can be spur of the moment like that, because the other thing is that with a lot of other pay to play things, some aspect of it involves scheduling. If you're going to go do something at a ballpark, you need to rent the facility. You need to go with other game. You need to find out when the games are and things like that. Whereas this is something that he can do by himself. Now, granted, depending on what he wants to do, he may have to find himself at a skate park in order to do some of this stuff. But we're fortunate in the Bay Area every time you turn around, you're tripping over a skate park. There's a lot of them. So,
and his best friend lives across the street from a skate park, which is really kind of cool.
So that really makes things nice. Yeah.
I have to tell you that it was hilarious. So my husband was just kind of shaking his head. He's like, I understand why we bought these lessons for him. But, when I was a kid, we just learned. We taught each other. Or you picked up tricks, from other kids and stuff. It's just it was so weird and strange for him to watch somebody teach skateboarding. That did not exist 40 years ago when he started skating.
Well, and what did exist maybe 15, 20 years ago were highly advanced skateboarding camps, where if you were really, really good, you go to these camps and get really, really, really good. Where you have professional skateboarders teaching you how to do those insane tricks, where when you practice them, you ride the ramp and then you end up in the big box of foam because it takes you 10 times to learn how to do it. You don't want to die in the process. And I remember Paul and I talking about those and saying how cool it would be to go to one of those. But as far as beginners, you're right. When I learned how to skateboard, I fell down hills. And talk to your husband Paul about when he and his friends were kids learning how to skateboard. Most of his stories were, we did this, and this person got this injury, and this person got this injury, and so there is something to be said for getting things a little bit structured and helping people learn without quite as much pain.
There is that. There is that. Yeah. But anyway, I was just thinking about that and how that correlated to just conversations that I have every day, that we have every day about money, and there's just so many different ways to look at it, and so that might be kind of a fun homework assignment, is to see what it is in your life that you might have that is not pay for play.
Yep.
And if there is nothing, then maybe, go look for something and have some fun with that. Yeah, have some fun with looking for your fun.
Yeah. Top of the hour. What's the first topic?
It's the top of the hour. So today we're going to talk about lifestyle, the importance of looking at personal finance from a lifestyle perspective. And I want to talk a little bit more detail about putting those pieces together. So if you're just joining us, because we're at the top of the hour now, my name is Melissa Tosetti. I am the founder of The Savvy Life, and this is
Kevin Gibbons. I'm a vice president at The Savvy Life.
And what The Savvy Life is, the way we describe our company is it's a day-to-day financial education company. Or as I like to call it, we're glorified home economics teachers, but Kevin always gets mad when I say that.
A little bit of an oversimplification.
It is an oversimplification of what it is that we do. But we help clients to create a spending plan for where they want their money to go. But really, again, joking, the witchcraft and the magic of what it is that we do is showing them how do you put that plan into play? How do you make that work for you? And so much of that is because, I just realized this microphone's a bit far away and my voice tends to drop. So much of that is based on looking at finance from a lifestyle perspective, and not just like, okay, I want my clothes to look like this, and I want my house to look like this, but okay, so now you have to interconnect that because you only have so much time, energy, and money for one area, so that ebbs and flows with the other areas of your life. And so it's important to understand what is important, right? What is the most important thing, and go through there.
Yeah, and how to prioritize. The key really for how we help people translate that spending plan from a piece of paper to a real actionable plan is really understanding how to prioritize everything and how to get them to make the decisions on where you're going to emphasize and when you're going to emphasize things and how things are going to change.
Correct. If you think about any given day that you have, so right now, today is Thursday. It's a Thursday in September. And let's just say that you're still at work and you leave work and you go off and you're going to stop somewhere on your way home. How many times are you bombarded by purchasing decisions, right? You're making purchasing decisions, or things are being thrown at you, from advertisements on billboards to walking through the aisles of a particular store. If without a plan or an idea of what you want your life to look like, then you're just susceptible.
You're reacting.
Yeah, you're reacting, exactly. And when I say you're susceptible, I mean that from the perspective that those stores work really, really hard to, I'll use the word manipulate, it's a rather strong word, but to manipulate you to spend your money. You just want to make sure that you're the one who is making the spending decision and only bringing home the things that will help you to create this life. Right.
Right. So one of the keys is figuring out what you want your life to look like, and really what you want your life to look like, as opposed to what people tell you your life should look like. And I think that that's one of the big things, is making sure that you're making these decisions because this is something that really appeals to you, that you really want, not just because it's the fashionable thing to do or because everybody's saying these are the trappings of success, so you have to have it.
Yeah. So a perfect example of that could be, we talk a lot with clients about clothes. Now, while we do not talk about fashion and we don't talk about style, we talk about systems and processes for being purposeful in that clothes shopping. So the question that I would have for you is, of the items that are in your closet right now, and I male or female, doesn't matter. The items that are in your closet right now, how many of them are really support the way that you want to show up, the way that you want to dress? So very often we have an idea of the way that we want to dress. We have, if you are Pinterest, and I'm a mad, crazy Pinterest junkie, but if you've got your Pinterest boards and you go to your fashion board on Pinterest, does your closet reflect what you've got pinned? Again, it's like we have an idea of what we want, but then we go into a store and we get distracted. So it's bridging that gap and then just starting to be so much more purposeful, walking in and having a list of what it is. Boy, you know what? I keep pinning this long black skirt. That's what I really want, but I keep getting distracted by these other things. So that's one element of it. And you want me to keep going, or I want to give you a chance to jump in? I'm on a roll.
You're on a roll.
So I would say the exact same thing about your home. I worked with a client, got to be like 6 years ago. And we were talking, and she said, here's my problem. I walk into Target and I will pick, and she called out Target. I'm not calling out Target for her. This is true to her story. And I'm walking through the aisles of Target and I will see a coffee cup and I will pick up that coffee cup and I'll think, this is the coffee cup that is going to turn my home and my kitchen into looking like June Cleaver's kitchen. That's exactly what she wanted. She wanted that June Cleaver look for her kitchen.
1950s homemaker.
Exactly.
Okay.
She was this woman was an amazing cook. But she'd get home and there were the 30 other coffee cups there. Plus it was just, she kept thinking about that while she's in the aisles of Target versus being in her own home, clearing all the clutter, everything that distracted from that look she's looking for. And then in her own home, looking around and realizing, you know what it is? I need to replace those drapes. Okay. I need to replace it. So having a plan while she's in the right place and then going in with her list and seeking out those missing pieces. And that's exactly what she did. And she got that look. It's purposefulness. And that idea of how much money did we likely save her on June Cleaver coffee cups?
Yeah. Well,
that's to give you an example.
Yeah, and that's kind of a simple example, but you do have the added expense, and then there's the hidden cost, which is now she has a huge inventory and clutter, which makes her uncomfortable, so she's more likely to go out and buy and keep looking for those things, and it keeps snowballing. So again, what it comes really back to is in whatever area of your life that you're looking at is sitting down and figuring out what you really want. What are the defining characteristics of what you want? And then once you do that in that area, then you can start buying with purpose. And in most cases, you can find that you don't need a ton of stuff. That really what you're looking for
true. Yeah.
Are just, I need these 5 core things and then some other ancillary things to kind of fill things out. But and it really doesn't take much.
And clear out everything that is not serving you. It's a combination. It's a balancing point between getting rid of the stuff that is diluting the look that you want or the wardrobe you want or whatever that might be, the experiences that you have. That's a whole other topic around the same topic. And then, again, identifying those core pieces that you want to bring in.
You know, and one of the, we're talking about some fairly low ticket items, although, you know, clothing can certainly get up there. But this applies as well to bigger items. And the common example people use are, what are you looking for when you're buying a car? And it's like, okay, well, no, I want the really sexy muscle car. Do you really? You know, I guess 2 years ago now, I had bought a new car, and coincidentally enough, I got a
sexy muscle car.
It's not a sexy muscle car. It's a Mustang, but it's
a Mustang.
But it's a 4-cylinder. Okay. and
but somebody ignorant like me is like, it's a Mustang. It's a cool car.
And that's the whole point, is that when I went to buy this car, my very generous, understanding wife said, okay, you're getting to that age, you can have whatever car you want. You want to go buy yourself a Corvette or something really fancy, you can buy yourself, you can buy yourself the 50s, sports car. So I don't want, and I thought about that, was very generous. Do I really want a car that gets 12 miles to the gallon and costs $3,000 every time you take it in for a tune-up? And so, no, I have motorcycles for that. And so, one of the requirements is that the car that I ended up with, it gets 30 miles to the gallon.
And so, my car.
So, yeah. But again, what it comes down to is, what are you really looking for? You can get very excited. It would have been very easy for me to get excited and say, oh, yeah, I want to get this really high-performance V8, 400 horsepower muscle car. Do I really need that? Do I really want to drive that around? No. What kind of driving do I do? What is something that has a little bit of personality? Because I want my car to have a little bit of personality at least, but but meets the core needs. And I think that stepping back and letting your emotions get you started down the process, but then pulling back on the reins, say, okay, my emotions say I want this. What can I do to accommodate my core emotions? What specific emotion am I really being driven by? And then how can I use a more reasonable approach to make sure that I'm getting something that is going to satisfy what I really want and then meet the other, not necessarily emotional needs.
Because that's also the witchcraft and the magic is to build that life, but within your ability to build it, your financial ability to build it.
And sustain it.
Yeah,
Again, with so many of these things, the purchase price is not the only price. You have to look at the the maintenance price or sustainment price of whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you're buying a really nice outfit, okay, this outfit says to dry clean only.
Yeah.
How often am I going to wear it? How often am I going to have to dry clean it? If I travel a lot, how am I going to transport this? Do I need to have now? I can't put this in my suitcase. Do I need to have a special garment bag? And what does that entail? And it's important to ask yourself these questions and determine if it is worth it or not.
The challenge with all of this is that we are so busy. And in that busyness, we are making spending decisions just on the fly versus giving ourselves a chance to really think through. So part of it is about slowing down. A big part of it really is taking time to sit down though and have this conversation with yourself and really think through just all these different elements. And I'll add one thing that is also critical to this whole conversation. We touched on it a little bit last week, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, is the social aspects. So the entertainment that you want to do when you go out to dinner or to dining out experiences, are those the experiences you really want to have, or is there a way that you can shift that? When you're traveling, are you going just where all your other friends want to go, or to the places that you really want to go? Because sometimes you need to make the decision to not go on that trip because you really want to save and go on this other trip. So again, you've got to give yourself that opportunity for clarity.
We just did a webinar on travel, and one of the things that I touched on in that webinar is understanding why you're going to a destination. And we had one client who was very interested in, we talked about this in the webinar, I think it might be in the book, who was interested in going to go see the bioluminescent creatures off the Galapagos Islands. Very expensive to get down there, but she really, really wanted to see that. And Melissa found another tour in the Caribbean that was much, much cheaper and actually more convenient, so that the client was able to go to that trip, see these creatures in what's called Bioluminescent Bay in a much shorter time frame.
Yeah, we got her. To be clear, I'm not a travel agent.
No, but she just helped.
I just happened to stumble on the article in Budget Travel magazine. By the way, Budget Travel is a fantastic resource because it does exactly that. It tells you places off the beaten path, places that you might have an even better experience, but are likely very much more affordable. And I think originally her spending plan was set up that we were going to get her to the Galapagos Islands in about 2 years because it is a very expensive trip. We got her to Puerto Rico
in 3 months.
Yeah. So it's powerful.
Yeah. And again, but the reason that we were able to do that is because the client didn't stop. We didn't stop at, you want to go to the Galapagos Islands.
Yeah.
Why do you want to go to the Galapagos Islands? I want to see these bioluminescent organisms. Okay, is there another way that we can do that? And so again, that's something that you can always be looking for in setting up your own lifestyle and looking at the finances on that. Is what are you looking for? Why are you looking for it? And is there a way to get the same or even a better experience that may be realizable sooner and maybe more affordable?
Yep.
Really understanding what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it, and then being open.
So if the idea, and if we were to give you homework, if this is something that speaks to you, the first initiative is to give yourself some time to sit down and to think this through. And actually, my friend Joel has a great process where he never does any of this kind of thinking at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he always goes to like a coffee shop or somewhere where he's out of his realm, and he never takes a device because it's just too easy to do other things. So he gives himself an opportunity, and I've done it a couple of times before based on his suggestions, and it really is powerful because you're also not getting triggered by seeing the same. I'm looking at Sherlock Holmes books on my bookshelf right now, right? And that's going to make me want to go to London.
Okay,
it's a bit of an extreme, but that idea. So giving yourself an opportunity to do this, do it in a very relaxed environment. You might want to do it on your own, and then perhaps getting together with your spouse or partner, and then putting the pieces together. But it's that idea starting first, and then it's like, okay, so how do we start to make this happen? And then putting your spending plan together based on that. that's something that you can do, but that's something this is what we do
we
for a
do.
living,
Yep. Yeah.
is really help clients to define that and anticipate what those potential expenses are and anything. So if, whether you do it yourself or you hire an outside resource, it is quality of life changing.
It does. Yeah.
Without exaggeration, I can say that.
It gives you direction, and that is huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.